On this episode of Game Shack, I review Joe Szabo's arcade topper for Arcade1up machines, specifically for the Mortal Kombat 2 Legacy Cap. I'll ask if it has value for money and if you should pick one of these guys up. Also, I'll give you a super cheap, easy, fast mod that you can do to this thing to make it even more spectacular than it already is. All that and more coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome on back into a very hot Game Shack. I am your host, JDV, for Evil Genius Entertainment. Okay, I'm going to jump right on into this episode and review this really nice arcade topper from Szabo's Arcades. Joe Szabo makes a whole lot of very nice products, and he makes a whole lot of these arcade toppers. Not only does it come wrapped in a very nice cardboard box with very good packaging, it also has a nice, not quite shrink wrap, but very heavy plastic bag that encapsulates the topper, as well as a little plastic groove thingy that you'll stick on the back of your marquee to slip the topper in. It is very, very easy to do. One of the easiest mods I've ever seen, and it has a lot of impact. The topper itself comes an additional little thin plastic film that you have to peel off. So if you're wondering why it doesn't quite look fantastic, it's probably because that film is on there. You peel that back to reveal a very nice looking, very professional looking topper. Right off the bat, the quality of this thing is very apparent. The lines on it are very crisp, very smooth. It looks like it's something that could have come with the machine itself. It looks really great. If I have only one quibble with this otherwise glowing review of this product, is that the definition of the print maybe could have been a little bit more DPI. There could have been just a little bit more definition in the words and everything. All that said, you can read all of it very easy. I have very bad eyesight and I can still read all of the move lists and everything like that. So there's enough definition in the graphics to read for sure. It's just maybe when you get real close to it, you can see that it's maybe not as high def as maybe you'd want at this price. But other than that, it is really a very nicely made, very well thought out product that is incredibly easy to install. Right off the bat, I thought to myself, well, gee, what happens when you stick a light behind this? And I did a little experiment where I used one of my little movie lights and I put it behind the topper, and sure enough, it lit up like the 4th of July. And I got to thinking, well, hey, why don't I put a little LED bar behind there and make a little back box so I can see all these moves in a dark arcade, and that is exactly what I did. So what I did, and this is a very easy mod, although not as easy as just putting a thing on there, what I did is I took the old leftover LED strip from my DIY retro build, which you can see here. You have about like a 6-inch strip of LEDs. That what I did is I took a splitter, the typical Y splitter that you see a lot now on these machines, cut off one end, I exposed the wires, and I soldered those right onto the LED strip. Testing first to make sure I had the leads in the right order and could get light out of it and make sure I hadn't otherwise damaged it during this build. As soon as I figured out which way to put the wires, I soldered them on. I then took like a $3.50 turkey roasting type pan from a dollar store. I poke a little hole in the bottom. I fed the LED strip and wire through the bottom. I then gorilla taped it onto the back of that turkey pan, facing the lights towards the back of the turkey pan itself so that it would reflect back outward, hopefully making it a little bit more diffuse. So it's a nice little kind of curve there. And I fed the wire back through, put it into my Y splitter that was already in here, plugged it in, and voila, now I have a backlit topper. It really does deliver quite a big wow effect, and it is not very hard to do. So what are my final thoughts on this topper from Joe Szabo's Arcade? Well, one, it's not cheap. It is not the cheapest thing that you're gonna buy. In fact, when you think that I spent $250 on this machine, that I paid 90 something with my own money on this, it's like, whoo, that's a lot of money for something that doesn't move or anything like that. That's true, but it really does add such a huge impact to the machine. It adds quite a bit of height. It looks super cool, especially when you backlight it, and that's a super easy mod that you can do. Even if you just stick a small lamp or something behind it, you could backlight it that way. It really does make it look really, really nice in a darkened arcade. Plus, and this is the main reason I got it, it has all of these moves on there. It has all of the normal super moves, the fatalities that you can do. It has the babalities and even has the stage fatalities on there. So unless you are someone who has all of those characters, moves, and everything memorized, this is an incredibly useful thing to have, especially if you have players coming over to play this game who don't know Mortal Kombat that well. I have a lot of young people come over here because I have kids, and they gravitate right to this machine, and so having this topper on there will allow them to at least get a taste of the super moves and fatalities. So bottom line, this is absolutely a thumbs up for me. I think this is worth $90 for sure. Now, maybe it wouldn't be for a game like Centipede or something like that, where you don't get the functionality of all the move list. For Mortal Kombat 2, it really is, at least for me, an essential. So, you know, maybe a topper doesn't make as much sense other than just purely as vanity, but this isn't just a vanity. It really does have a very useful purpose in terms of having all those moves, but boy oh boy, it really does make the machine look really good, at least in my opinion. Okay, so if you like content like this, give me a thumbs up on the way out the door. It really does help this channel. Subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification bell and all that jazz. Love each other, and I'll see you guys again in the Game Shack. Good job, Joe. Mwah!
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.